They'll say you are now cold, but they caused it. They're gonna look at you one day, tilt their heads, and ask, why did you change? And the irony? They won't even realize or the reason. How it amuses me. The audacity of people who break you, and then act surprised when they see pieces scattered on the floor. You used to be different, they will say. Softer. Kinder. You had this naive glow about you thinking the world played fair, that people had a heart buried somewhere under those thick layers of flesh. But then something snapped. They pushed, poked, and prodded until all that softness turned sharp. They thought you'd stay the same, just another pawn on their board. Wrong move. They didn't see it coming, did they? They never do. They spend years treating you like you're some kind of puppet, pulling strings, watching you dance, and laughing at your innocence. But here's the twist they never expect. The puppet cuts its own strings. And now you're not dancing to their tune anymore. The funny thing is they'll come around with that fake sympathy, that crocodile smile. We're worried about you. They'll say, you've changed. Well, of course, you've changed. That's what happens when every piece of trust you handed out gets shattered like cheap glass. That's what happens when the people you love with every broken bit of yourself turn around and stab you with the very shards you gave them. Look at me. You think I was always like this? You think I was born a monster? No, I became this. And just like you, I was molded by the very hands that now pretend they had nothing to do with it. They'll act like your darkness appeared out of thin air, but they won't acknowledge that they were the ones who switched off the lights. They push you into the abyss, watch you fall, and then had the nerve to ask why you don't see the world the same way anymore. It's a joke, a sick, twisted joke. And you're supposed to play along, smile, and nod like nothing happened. But here's the truth they don't want to face. You didn't change. You evolved. You adapted to survive the very environment they created. They made the bed, but now they don't want to lie in it. They crafted this version of you, with every lie, every betrayal, every time they let you down. And now they don't recognize what they've built. That's their fault, not yours. You see, pain does something to a person. It's a sculptor with rough hands, chipping away at all the unnecessary pieces until you're left with something raw, something real. They broke you, and then they stood back, expecting the same old smile. But now that smile's gone, replaced by a grin that surfaced after you were left to pick all the pieces. A grin that knows too much, that's seen too much. It's the grin of someone who's learned the hard way that people are just pretty masks, hiding ugly truths. Of course, they'll say, you become cold. But they don't understand that coldness is just a layer of protection, a shield you had to build because their warmth was always conditional. They loved the version of you, bent over backward for them. That took the hits and kicks without flinching. But the moment you stopped being their punching bag, you became the villain in their story. And maybe that's fine. Let them think you're the villain. Let them rewrite the narrative, however. It makes them sleep at night. But deep down, you know the truth. You didn't change for the sake of change. You changed because their actions left you no choice. You adapted. You grew teeth. You learned to bite back. They'll whisper behind your back, say you become bitter. But bitterness is just what happens when sweet things rot. They spoiled everything good inside you, then blamed you for the taste. They created the storm, and then cursed the rain when it fell. They're the authors of this tragedy, but they'll never admit it. You want to know the best part? One day, they'll need you again. They always do. And they'll come crawling back, looking for the person they once knew. The one who would forgive, forget, and fold. But that person is gone. Poof, into thin air. They killed him slowly, with every lie, every broken promise. And what's left is someone who's not afraid to watch them drown in the very chaos they created. They'll say you're unrecognizable now. But you're not the one who's unrecognizable. It's them. The mask they wore slipped off long ago. You finally saw them for what they really are. Manipulators, liars, users. And once you see that truth, you can't unsee it. It's burned into your mind, a permanent scar, a reminder of what happens when you trust too easily. I'll tell you this, you're not broken. You're rebuilt, stronger, harder, colder, and they hate it because it means they can't control you anymore. They lost their grip the moment they showed you their true colors. And now you're free. Free from their expectations, their judgments. You're reborn. So when they ask why you changed, smile. Give them that same grin and let them wonder. Let them lie awake at night, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Because you know the truth. You didn't change out of nowhere. They rewrote your story with their own hands. And now they're just scared of the monster they created. They'll keep asking, they'll keep scratching at the surface, desperate to figure out where they went wrong. But here's the kicker. They'll never really look at themselves. It's easier for them to point fingers, to paint you as the problem. They'll call you ungrateful, say you're overreacting. That's their go-to, isn't it? Dismiss your pain like it's nothing, like the scars they left on your heart were just a figment of your imagination. But you know better now. You see through their charade. You've learned that people only love the version of you that fits their needs. The moment you outgrow that mold, the moment you demand the respect you deserve, they'll turn on you like rabid dogs. Every half-hearted apology that dripped with insincerity, it all built up, didn't it? Layer by layer it piled on until it was too heavy to ignore. They gave you every reason to change. And now they can't stand the sight of what they created. You see, it's easy for them to label you as damaged, to say you're different, but they don't want to face the fact that they were the ones who chipped away at you piece by piece. It's easier for them to pretend you woke up one day with a hardened heart, like it wasn't them who froze it solid with their coldness. But let me tell you something. Every scar you carry is a testament, a reminder of just how much you survived, and that survival and evolution scared the living day out of them. They wanted you broken, pliable, and easy to manipulate. They wanted you soft, so they could bend you to their will. But life doesn't play by their rules, and neither do you anymore. You took every knife they stabbed into your back and forged yourself into something unbreakable. They can't stand it because it means they lost their control over you. And control, that's what it was always about, wasn't it? Oh, they'll act innocent, play the victim, say you become cruel. But cruelty was their language first. You just learned to speak it better. They'll twist the narrative. Tell anyone who'll listen that you've lost your way. But the truth is you just stopped letting them dictate your path. You found your own way, one they can't follow because it's built on the rubble of everything they destroyed. Let them ask their questions. Let them spin their stories. At the end of the day, you owe them nothing. Not an explanation, not an apology,